Hey y'all! A few weeks ago I put out a video where I got my new Hellbender and I kind of went over it with you guys. Well, now we have ditched the Texas heat and we are here in New Mexico and we're getting ready to do a backpacking trip in the Pecos wilderness. And I'm going to finally get a chance to test the Hellbender, so I can't wait to tell you guys how it went. See you on the trail! Alright, we are on the long climb. First long climb. I think we're going to be climbing most of today, but I didn't get a chance to do video this morning. I tested out my hammock last night. It got down to around 48 degrees, but the humidity was really high, so it was that cold that kind of soaks into your bones. At first I woke up and I was cold. I was like, oh no, this hammock isn't warm enough, but I realized I had not created a foot box on my top quilt, and my legs were hanging out the bottom. So once I got that fixed, I slept really toasty the whole night. And my Hellbender is a 20 degree. Yeah, living at 600 feet and coming up here to being about I think we're over 6,000 feet now. Woo! Crow's not happy. This is so beautiful where we're at. We've been hiking amongst pines and now we're up into the aspens. Since we left the car, we've just been climbing and climbing. The plan today is to hike Beatty's, I think I'm saying that right, Beatty, Beatty's Trail. And Beatty was a dude that lived in this area, probably, I think it was early 1800s. No one knows exactly where his cabin is, but the area is called Beatty's Cabin. And no one knows exactly what he did, if he was a prospector or what. But later on, this area started to become more established and more used. And the area we're hiking through became completely overused. So, a bunch of different campground sites, people coming back here to hunt and fish. Once we got into the 1900s, it was getting so bad, they had to make a decision to shut it down for camping. Eventually, we're going to get out of the no camping area today. And there's a gate that shows we're out of the no camping area. And just past that gate, there's some campsites. And that's where we plan to camp. Woo! I need some oxygen.
Never really know what's going on. Look at me sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart so slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy. It's getting hard to talk to you, and I'm the only one who speaks. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want.
This was an absolutely beautiful day of backpacking. And we are camped here next to Pecos River. And let me show you this campsite. Isn't this just absolutely beautiful? That is my husband and my friend Corgi down there. And up over this way, that's Corgi's husband, who does not have a trail name yet. And he is doing his very first hammocking backpacking trip. And of course, I've got my setup right here. If you guys saw my video talking about unboxing the Hellbender, then you're familiar with my setup. So this is my DCF tarp. And everything on this side looks good, but let me show you something. I have kind of a weird situation here with when I pitched my tarp. That guy line down there is normal, but this guy line had to kind of go down a step because of where the creek wash is. And what I've got going on here is, well, bird poop. But I don't know if you can see it. That's the side of the crossbar is just kind of poking. It's not poking hard, and you can see I can easily push it away, but it is popping out right there. So I don't know how that would be with a bunch of wind moving the tarp around, but we'll see how that does. There's my little Hellbender. So my trail name, if I hadn't mentioned it before, is Mary Poopins, because I always seem to have what everybody needs. And on this trip, I pulled a Mary Poopins to the max. I am the only one with a working water filter, and the other water filter that would have been brought was forgotten and left at home somewhere. So I really got to play out Mary Poopins today. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get settled in, start getting ready to have dinner, and then I'll crash out. It's supposed to get pretty cold tonight, so possibly some rain, and I'll let you guys know in the morning how it went. See you later. Good morning. So we are on day 2 of our hike, and last night, so I started getting a little chilled, and I was thinking, oh man, I hope it's not that this underquilt thing isn't warm enough. But then I realized that for some reason I just had shivers, but I was warm. I tucked my head down on my top quilt, and then I kind of felt the underside of me, and it was nice and toasty. So I don't know if it was just because of humidity or what, but everything was good. The underquilt was exactly where I was laying, and it was a really comfortable sleep. So definitely feeling energized today. So today we're hoping to get to a place called Trail Riders Wall and do some walking along that, which is supposed to have some spectacular views. And there are some possible storms coming in, so that may keep us from going all the way up there. But we'll see how it shakes out. Right now it's a beautiful blue sky day. All right, we're going to get to hiking. Oh, also remember when I was talking about how the spreader bar was contacting the side of my tarp because of how I had to pitch it? It didn't cause any kind of mark or anything. And when I laid down in the hammock and it kind of contorted a little bit, that part wasn't touching the tarp at all.
Secrets start in your heart so slow. But if you don't want to tell.
Hey everybody. So I haven't checked in much today because today has been a rough day with a lot of blowdowns, just trail that wasn't marked well, places where it got out of grass and we just lost the trail altogether. So it's been an adventure. We're a little bit behind schedule, but that's why I haven't checked in. We're hoping to be to camp here in about 2 miles or so. But in the meantime, check out this view. And that right there is Corgi and the Duke trying to figure out which way to go now. Because the signpost has fallen down. We're not sure which way it was pointing. So I look at that rain off in the distance. We're supposed to have some storms tonight. Hello. Well, today turned out to be a really rough day. We had a lot of blowdowns, and also it turned out that a bunch of the trails were not marked. Like a bunch of the signs had fallen down or completely gone. So we bypassed where we were supposed to turn off to go to Pecos Baldy Lake, and now we ended up doing this full big loop all the way back around to where we camped last night. So I'm in the same place, so I can't report back about how the spreader bar is going to do in a different location because I am hanging between the exact same 2 trees as last night. But kind of a bummer. It was a long day for some of the people in our group, but Now I'm sitting here having some hot apple cider with whiskey, and then I'm going to turn in here in a little bit. Just wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on. It's supposed to get into the low 30s again tonight, so I'll let you know how the hammock did. So far, it's comfy. Good night, y'all. Good morning. Well, it's not really morning. I guess it's late morning now. We are on our way back to the car. I slept like a baby last night. So if you're watching this video because I called it testing the Hellbender, the test got an A+. Passed with flying colors. So we're making our way back to the ending trailhead. We probably have another 3 hours or so. And then we're gonna get in the car and start our 10-hour drive back to Dallas. But I'll tell you what, look at this place. Definitely worth the drive. It's just gorgeous. And there's my husband who didn't sleep nice because he was in a tent.
I slept great.
So we've come up on the trail here, and there's calves on the trail. Mama's kind of looking at us. It's okay, buddies. We're not going to hurt anybody. The white one there, my husband says, is the bull. You can tell by his wiener. We're not going to hurt you, buddy. We're just moving on our way. It's okay, little calf. Go on to your mama. Bye-bye, moo cows. My husband comes from farming, and they ran cattle, so he's more familiar with cattle stuff. And I was like, is it okay if we get near the calves? They're not going to try to kill us. He said, nah, it'll be fine. It was fine. All right, everybody, that's a wrap. We're done. And the Hellbender did great. I love that hammock, and it packed down so much smaller. It allowed me to fit my stuff in my pack more comfortably. And then also, for this trail, if you come to hike in this Pecos area of the Santa Fe Mountains and you're not familiar with it, make sure to have something on like a Venza or one of those other kind of apps that has a map and tells you where you are on the map, because these trails were not marked well. We got off trail a couple times and we were so far off trail at one point because none of the junctions are marked. So that's something to keep in mind if you come to hike here. And also, did I mention the Hellbender was great? That's something to keep in mind if you need to buy a new hammock. Anyway, we had these storms rolling in on us, and man, I hear the thunder going. But luckily, this storm so far was all bark and no bite. But it is just now starting to sprinkle, so we got it just in time. All right, you guys, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.